Call the meeting to order. Please conduct a roll call.
Pete Lurker,
Here.
Valerie Hill. Here. Adam Blakely. Joe Schaller.
Here.
Rachel Albert. Marty Cox.
Here.
Blaine Easton.
Here. Okay, the purpose of this public hearing is to review case 2023-01 CU filed by Tony Stapleton, agent for Robert Kramer for the property located at N181 Carlisle Pike, Germantown, Ohio, German Township, Montgomery County. The applicant are requesting to split this property in order to create a 4-acre parcel and a 3-acre parcel to allow construction of one additional single-family residence. New home will be occupied by children of the current landowners. As members of the Board of Zoning Appeal, it is our duty to review these cases at public hearing and render a decision for or against the request based on the application, staff report, testimony, and evidence presented and heard at this public hearing. All testimony during this hearing is required to be under oath. I will ask at this time, anyone wishing to present evidence, please raise your right hand or your right hand. And for swearing in, do you swear, tell the truth, form, let me back up. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Anyone that has failed to do the oath and you want to present evidence, I'll swear you in. You'll be asked to state your name and current address. First time you address the board, now I'll ask you to address the board at the podium. Wait until you're recognized by the chair speaking. Everyone will be given an opportunity to voice his or her comment. The meeting is being recorded, so I asked if there are no side conversations in the audience, just so that we can hear all the testimony at the podium. Introduction of the case 2023-001 CU is submitted as Exhibit A with application. Okay, so do you now want to do your staff report?
That. All right, the property address is 10181 Carlisle Pike, Germantown, Ohio, 45327. Subject property is parcel ID D140091100001, approximately 7 acres, located in section 29, town 2, range 5 east, zoned agricultural, German Township, Montgomery County, Ohio. This property is currently occupied and carries the address of 10181 Carlisle Pike. Property frontage is on Carlisle Pike. The applicant is requesting to split off 3 acres of land with road frontage of 679.6 feet. As a result, the frontage for the remaining 4 acres will be 383 feet in Carlisle Pike. Applicants are requesting to split the land in order to create a 4-acre parcel and a 3-acre parcel to allow construction of one additional single-family residence. No home will be occupied by the children of the current landowners. According to the United States Department of Agriculture Web Soil Survey, this parcel is primarily made up of raw silt loam soil, which qualifies it as prime agricultural soil, deeming this property prime farmland according to section 20602 in the German Township zoning resolution. As stated in section 803, the following conditional use is subject to approval in accordance with Article 4, section 406.6. A single-family residential lot less than 20 acres which comply with the following standards. Minimum lot area shall be 2 acres with a minimum road frontage of 250 feet and a maximum lot depth at the center line of the road not to exceed 3 times the lot width. No point shall the lot width be less than half of the required frontage. The land is considered prime farmland as defined in section 201.05. Each lot shall have a minimum area of 2 acres and a minimum frontage of 250 feet. However, the board may permit less frontage if the applicant can show that due to special conditions by the land, such as topography or the proximity of land to the road, property can be better developed using lesser frontage where front, side, or rear yard requirements are met. And I have also included a statement from the applicant. It's included in the permit application. I can read that. It says the proposed conditional use complies with all applicable regulations in a practical fashion. Adequate utility, drainage, and other necessary facilities will be provided and are subject to county approval. Access will create no new traffic hazards or congestion. All permits and licenses need to proceed with the development of the new proposed parcel are available and will be obtained. The use is entirely in harmony with the development of the district, particularly given the size of the lot and the surrounding and nearby residential uses. All proposed buildings are modest in their design, and construction will have no impact whatsoever on any other development or use of other buildings. Exterior lights will absolutely be shaded for the benefit of the district and the homeowner. There is no potential for the conditional use to adversely affect public health, safety, or morals, and in fact is undertaken to support the parents of one of the applicants as they age and need family support. The request also arises from the special conditions involving the property, which are unique with a small 7-acre triangle parcel. The unique need to support family and the suitability of the property for this use was not created by any adverse actions by the applicant. A strict application for the provisions of the zoning resolution would preempt the potential use and work the hardship on the current property owner and applicant. The use will not compromise the use or enjoyment of any adjacent properties, and in fact will complement the adjacent properties. The request submitted herewith is entirely supportive of the spirit and intent of the German Township zoning resolution. A detailed examination of soil conditions has already occurred, and the data will be provided in support of the application. The nature of this existing parcel and the proposed parcel is not suitable for any other traditional agricultural use, and the proposed use in no way hampers or interferes with the practical use of the prime agricultural ground. Evidence will be presented at the hearing wholly supportive of these factors. As demonstrated in the attached county plot plan, which I've given you guys, the acreage in the vicinity includes as many as 18 other dwellings, most of which are on 2 to 3 acres.
Clarification, did you write this statement
No, this was submitted with the,
by the app?
yes, they asked to have it read at the,
Okay, now we'll have the applicant testify or their agent. Would they please come forward?
Good evening.
Obviously, you have to state your name and address.
Gary Leplis, 6780 Farmersville Pike in German Township. Sorry to drag everybody out in the middle of the summer. It's kind of like an election in August, but we're all out here because we have to go forward with this. I appreciate the opportunity. We've submitted everything. The staff report is consistent with what we've submitted and said. This is 7 acres. It's an opportunity for the landowner, Mr. and Mrs. Kramer, to have their daughter and son-in-law next door. Personally, I know what that's like. I got that great opportunity to have my parents next door. And at the time that was split off many years ago, it may not have been possible if there was a strict application that prevented that, but it made all the difference in the world. And it would make all the difference in the world for these folks. The area is, everybody knows the area. I mean, it's not like we have to go several blocks out of our way, but that property is in it's agricultural around it. It is a strip of residential properties. As many as I said in the application, as many as 18 houses right there across the street, down the street, on mostly less than 3 acres. This is a 3-acre and a 4-acre parcel. So, you know, the essence of a lot of zoning is what's consistent with the area or the district. This is 100% consistent with that. As far as an agricultural use, which we'll talk about a bit more, this is 7 acres. It's taken 3 acres away from 7 acres. Most of the 7 and the 4 that are left behind, you couldn't farm anyway. There's buildings on it. Nobody is going to farm 3 acres. There's no question about the quality of soils. We've permitted a lot of things in our community, large developments, in fact, historically, on those types of parcels, those with prime agricultural soils. The survey, as the zoning administrator recited, that's what it says, and that's the area that is. There's no changing that fact. But what's important is, why is that a factor? It's a factor because if we're going to farm, we're not going to give up farmland to have a housing development or something else. We're not going to do that because we want that farmed. This has been sitting there vacant all these years. You can't get it farmed. I can't even get the hay in my front field cut. Get paid anything. I takes it for free. And that's fine with me because I don't have to mow it as much. So there's some testimony you'll hear on that issue. It's just not a practical use. And as I put in the application, it's not suited for prime agricultural use. There is a possibility that when the Stapletons are able, if they're able to be in there, about beekeeping and some gardening and farming, well, that's an agricultural use that is not there right now. So from a practical standpoint, although that is a factor that you are to consider by the zoning resolution, it really doesn't make sense to prohibit this development because of that factor. All the other conditions, as the zoning administrator said, permits, all those types of things are either already available or they will be available. There's really no dispute about any of those things. And I think it comes back down to that. If there's a problem here, be very candid, if there's a problem here, it's because of the quality of the soil. An acre parcel, 3 acres would be cut off of a triangle. Nobody can farm that. Hope is that it can be put to some practical use. Again, as the information that this board puts out and German Township puts out, the BZA takes into consideration whether or not the proposed new lot is prime agricultural area. It's not a preemption prohibition. It's a practical concern. We came in here with wanting to take 40 acres out of farming for Mr. Cruz to build a development, which he has no intention of doing. That'd be a very practical problem. And that would be one worth consideration, but we're talking about 3 acres here. So it's quite a different thing. Additionally, there's other people that have some things to say here that are helpful, but I'd like to add that like this, the Public Health Department for Dayton and Montgomery County has reviewed this. And their conclusion is they have no objection to the proposed lot splits. And I'll circulate this, but based on the soil, based upon the adequate future space for replacement system if necessary, on-site sewage treatment, private water systems are adequate for both parcels. And they've reviewed the soil report performed by Dayton Soil Services, which was also submitted in support of that. That doesn't tell you anything that's different than what we know from the map. So I'd like to pass that over. It's to be made part of the record. Other people that have some things to say here include Ray Mikesell, who's a farmer. Kenny Cruz is the builder. He'll tell you a little bit about what's going to go there, potentially. Mr. and Mrs. Kramer are here. Their daughter Karen and her husband Tony Stapleton are here. There's some neighbors here, which we appreciate. And we believe all standards are met, and it's a practical matter in our community, the way we live in this community. This is a neat thing. These folks want to be in a position to take care of it. So I'll answer questions. I'm sure anybody else will, but we appreciate your time. We appreciate you coming out tonight.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
We got this picture as part of our package. Have you seen this?
Yes.
Do you know anything about this picture? I mean,
Let me
what it
look
was
at it
taken.
to make sure. No, I don't know.
I think I just got that one off the web soil survey.
How old is the picture?
I-
I'm just
I can-
curious.
I just got a web soil survey like a month ago.
I was gonna have.
Yeah, we can get it.
What your line was.
Did you prepare that?
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know
a
what-
geological survey, soil website, and I was looking at that tonight, and this is from that.
Because if you look at that, I just printed it because it has the map and then it shows what,
It's helpful. I was just
Yeah.
curious about how old.
nope, just like a month ago.
Just a little bit more, but that might help you a little bit. Yeah, so what's happening on that right now? What's the?
This is existing property for Mr. and Mrs. Kramer.
Yeah,
This is the.
right, but is it
They
being
bail
farmed right now?
No.
What is it, why does it look different? That's what I'm just curious
Crazy
about.
hunting what?
Well, like this is green and this looks,
This is grass.
this looks like a
Field is like a field that you would cut hay out of, possibly, or just cut. Or is that where it goes? I know Bob doesn't, you don't cut the hay, right? You have somebody else do that, I guess?
You don't cut the hay.
Oh.
No.
That's the same problem I have. I have to give it a
Yellow line here is from this. This is a drum. It's just a field.
I don't think I have anything to add, so thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. There, any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here that would like to testify in favor of the applicant? Please, forward. Did you take the oath?
Yes,
State your name and address, please.
Raymond Mikesell, 2276 Richmond Palestine Road, New Madison, Ohio. I'm acquaintance and friends with taking care. I farm 513 acres. I'm kind of like a small farmer. Most farmers have 2,000 to 3,000 acres. Most people don't make it on what I farm. But, it still takes $1 million worth of equipment. And to come in to farm a little triangle patch wouldn't be feasible. No matter how far you had to drive down the road, combine's got a 40-foot head. And, getting in the corners, it just, maybe I make $200 an acre when I rent ground. But come and kind of make $800 off of 3 acres, or if it was 4 acres, whatever it might be. $600, if it was 3 acres, just, I don't think anybody would farm it. Nobody has a H tractor and a 2-bottom plow anymore. So I guess that's the reason that they didn't want to let them build the house, because it was supposed to be farmable, but it hasn't been farmed for a while. I couldn't see anybody coming in there to try to make any money off of that farming. And I need to explain, you'd have to come in there with chisel plow to plow up the grass and spraying and planting, side dressing. You'd have a whole bunch of trips down the road. It's not feasible. If I have any
Anybody else
questions, I
have
can
a comment or
elaborate more
question?
about it.
Is there anyone else that would like to testify in favor? Please come forward.
I didn't take the oath, but I tell the truth. I've been a neighbor to this property since 1964.
Hang on, just,
It hasn't been,
hang on just a second. He did not take the oath, so he
Okay.
needs to be.
I take the oath, okay?
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I did.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay. Like I say, I've been a neighbor there, this property since 1964, 65 in that period.
Which direction?
Toward Carlisle. Just past one house between me and Bob's house.
Okay.
And I know that the property hasn't been farmed since I've lived there, even before Bob owned it. And so I see no problem with them not calling it a farmland. It's a piece of property and nothing wrong with it being split as far as I'm concerned. It's better use for the township, taxes and everything. We get a lot more taxes out of it this way. We'll leave it like it is. That's about all I had to say.
Does anyone else want to speak in favor of the applicant? Yes, sir. Did you give the oath?
Yes, sir.
State your name and address,
My
please.
name's Kenny Cruz, live at 12,000 Temple Road, Farmersville, Ohio. Projected builder for Tony and Karen Stapleton. Got involved with Tony over 40 years ago. He was a young man in that time called the Joint Vocational School for Carpentry. He hired on with our company, and more than just a working relationship, it's a friendship. And at the end of my rope, as far as it's coming up, and I said, both of us said it'd be great. Last house I built. So I'm very familiar with Tony, his integrity, his family. I'm very familiar with Bob and his wife, Marie. We did a project for them back in 2009. Can't say enough good about the whole situation there with Karen being raised there, went to Town School System, Valley View, and being back there to right next door to where she grew up and be able to help with the parents and so on. I think it's a wonderful situation. Anybody that wants to see what this looks like, it's a craftsman style house. And I can lay this out on the table up here. That's a front view and a rear view, what this would look like. Fits a 3-acre country setting very well. not overdone, not underdone, just a nice size house with a porch on it. And I think it would look fantastic in those conditions as far as that part goes. So, all I can say is I think it's a wonderful situation that this daughter and son-in-law can come on board to possibly help out with the folks and help take care of things around there. And I'm open for any questions you may have from me.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Now, is there anyone else that would like to testify in favor of the applicant?
My name is Tony Stapleton. I did swear.
All right, thank you.
32 Argyle Court, Franklin, Ohio. We do have a statement here that is signed. I'll read it. We, Robert and Marie Kramer, have applied for a lot split with the zoning board of German Township to split the 7-acre property at 1018-1 Carlisle Pike, Germantown, Ohio, into a 4 and a 3-acre section. We need your signature stating that you have no objections to the split for the proposed construction of a new single-family home to be built on the 3 acres. And we went around and we've got all the signatures from everyone. Some of them are here. Thank you for being here and supporting us. So we got all the signatures from the people that we had to, and then we got even more that weren't even included in that, whatever distance that is on I think it's 300 feet. What was it? 300 feet. So some of them are even further out than that. I did have a lot more to say, but everybody said a lot of it. But to be honest with you, I want you to know where I'm coming from. I mean, they've done a good job explaining what's going on, but I've been married to their daughter going on 40 years, so I've been in the family a long time. And those sitting in here, if you haven't had parents that are aging, or you're going to, or if you haven't already had it. So it's a great honor to be able, if given the opportunity, to be living right there next to them so that they can remain in their home. That is my honest goal that's the only reason that we want to do this, our sole goal. So that's in my heart. I have a good, honest, clean conscience. There's no other reason that we want to do it, is to help them, because things get a little bit harder as you age. Sometimes it's a little hard to admit. The older we get, the harder things are. So that's what we want. And then they talked about, we know that's prime ground, what have you. But like you said, I in 40 some years, I've never seen anything other than pretty much grass out there, in it. And there's different kind of agriculture. If we get the lot split, we're going to put some cattle on it. That's a plan. So we want to do that. I come from a small town. Karen grew up in a small farm town. We love the atmosphere of a small town. We don't want to bring the city to the farm, So, we want to have cattle there. For the last several years, I am a beekeeper, all right? And we know how important the honeybees are. So I want to bring that. I want to expand my bee apiary on this piece of property. So I think we'll be enhancing it, not taking it down any. So, and then we got the best builder around town. If you guys know anything about Cruz Construction, he's going to build a fine home. It's not going to be something you'd be embarrassed to live by. So, any questions for me? Thank you.
Hey, Tommy, why don't you give her this?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
And I am Karen Stapleton.
Same address.
Same address, 32 Argyle Court, Franklin, Ohio. Thank you guys for going up and supporting us. Appreciate it very much. Short and simple. I would love to live next to my mom and dad to help take care of them as they get old. To me, that's #1 priority.
Is there anyone else that'd like to speak in favor of the applicant?
You'll find out I'm not a speaker, but Bob Kramer, I'm sorry, Yeah.
State your name and address.
for Robert Kramer, 10181 Carlisle Pike. I'm the owner of the 7 acres listed here we're talking about. Again, I want to thank all my neighbors and the main reason that we want to split it is, like Karen said, to get the family close together. I'm 84 now and I'm slowing way down. And it would be nice to have family right there, right close. If something happens to me or my wife, just have them real close to take care of us, if you will. And if anybody had any questions on anything, and Pretty or me or anything, I'd answer them. Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak in favor of the applicant? Anyone that wants to speak in opposition, please indicate that you justify. Okay, at this point. Does any of the board members have any questions they want to ask? All right,
I
just,
do have one thing.
you got one question.
Gary,
Yeah.
you had some information about the conditional use, talking about a practical matter. You have that document. What did you cite?
I think what I was citing, part of it was just what I was saying about being a practical issue. But sorry, I'll get back to the right page here. The actual application says approval is not guaranteed. The BZA will take into consideration, maybe this is what.
On the application,
Take into consideration whether.
on our conditional use application, it says that.
Did that answer your?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, at this point, I'm gonna close the public hearing at 7:28. I think we need to go into executive session. What we'll do is go into executive session, discuss the case, and then we'll come back out and we'll be voting on standards and voting on the case itself. Just bear with us. Thank you.
Please.
And we're going here.
Oh, you're sound. You're so they. Yes, yes. Take it further than here. Get some. Yeah, it's very.
Like, do we open the case at 7:45? Do a roll call on standards, please.
The standard.
Yeah,
The board shall not grant a conditional use unless it shall, in each specific case, make specific findings of fact directly based upon the particular evidence presented to it that supports conclusion that A, the proposed conditional use will comply with all applicable regulations of this resolution, including lot size requirements, developmental standards, and use limitations. Pete Lurker,
no,
Valerie Hill.
No.
Adam Blakely. Oh, sorry, he's not here. Joe Schaller.
Nope.
Marty Cox.
Nope.
William Houston.
No.
Adequate utility, drainage, and other such necessary facilities have been or will be provided. Pete Lurker.
yes,
Valerie Hill.
Yes.
Joe Schaller.
Yes.
Marty Cox. William Houston.
Yep.
Adequate access roads or entrance and exit drives will be provided and will be so designated as to prevent traffic hazards and to minimize traffic conflicts and congestion in public streets and alleys. Pete Lurker.
yes,
Valerie Hill. Joe Schaller.
Yes.
Yes.
And William Houston.
Yes.
All necessary permits and license for the use and operation of the conditional use have been obtained, or evidence has been submitted that such permits are obtainable for the proposed conditional use on the subject property. Pete Lurker.
yes,
Valerie Hill.
Yes.
Joe Schaller.
Yes.
Marty Cox.
Yes.
William Houston.
Yes.
All exterior lights or artificial open-air illumination are so shaded as to avoid casting direct light upon any property located in a residential district. Pete Lurker.
yes,
Valerie Hill.
Yes.
Joe Schaller.
Yes.
Marty Cox.
Yes.
William Houston.
Yes.
The location and size of the conditional use, the nature and the intensity of the operation involved or conducted in connection with it, the size of the site in relation to it, and the location of the site with respect to streets giving access to it shall be such that it will be in harmony with the appropriate and orderly development of the district in which it is located. Pete Lurker.
yes,
Valerie Hill.
Yes.
Joe Schaller.
Yes.
Marty Cox.
Yes.
And William Houston.
Yes.
The location and nature and height of building structures, walls, and fences on the site, and the nature and extent of landscaping and screening on the site shall be such that the use will not unreasonably hinder or discourage the appropriate development, use, and enjoyment of adjacent land, buildings, and structures. Pete Lurker.
yes,
Valerie Hill.
Yes.
Joe Schaller.
Yes.
Marty Cox.
Yes.
William Houston.
Yes.
Conditional use desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, and morals. Pete Lurker.
yes,
Valerie Hill.
Yes.
Joe Schaller.
Yes.
Marty Cox.
Yes.
William Houston.
Yes.
Is there a motion to grant or deny case 2023-01 CU as presented or with any stipulations the board would choose to impose?
I move to grant case 2023-01 CU as presented, but I'd also like to identify some important distinguishing factors for the community so they understand this decision. The township trustees, the zoning commission have adopted zoning resolutions, and part of that gives us the job to preserve prime agricultural soil. But it's important in this case that this is soil that hasn't been farmed in approximately or over 50 years. I didn't do all the math, but like you said, it's been a long time. Also, there's the property does have an awkward shape, which prevents it from, from farmers being able to get efficient use of the soil, and prevent them from really wanting to farm it at all. We agree with the testimony that we heard about that. We also understand and appreciate that the proposed use might be more of an agricultural use than the current use of the land. And then finally, This is different because the split is consistent with the area in terms of lot size and development. In short, it's consistent, or the use is in harmony with the area. So for those reasons and those distinguishing factors, I move to grant the application in case number 2023-01 CU.
A second.
Do a roll call on that, please.
All right, Kate Wicker,
Yes to grant.
Valerie Hill,
Yes to grant.
Joe Schauer,
Yes to grant.
Marty Cox,
Mr. Grant.
Elaine Easton.
No.
So we are good. We are yes to grant.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Considering.
Thank you for your presentation. It was very helpful.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
None of us leave till we sign the.
Yeah.
Yes, meeting is adjourned at 7:50 PM.
Need a motion and a second.
What's that?
We need a motion. and a second.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Yes.
And you seconded. All in favor, just say aye. Aye.
What?